so coffee tastes mighty good. That's not the reason why I've gotta get back up to that sugar shack.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting, semi-exciting, maybe, edition of Millennium County RR version 2.0. In this episode we're going to talk about printing, mostly, and a quick update on what I've done so far in my layout, but mostly about printers, so be sure and watch it till the end. You'll learn something about the printer that I discovered, which might be beneficial to you. So without any further ado, let me reposition the camera and we'll get cracking on it. Alright, so here we are. This is the top level. Got it all the rails are painted. I'll try and be as smooth as possible so nobody gets sick. And I also see the background I put in. I printed that up a couple of days ago. I've got a lot more to go. That's going to be all the way around. But I'm not going to do the rest until I buy a new printer. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So, and like I said, I've got all this done. Don't mind the mess. The rails have all been painted except for the where the turnout points are. I got to do those by hand. But everything has been done except for this little area here. And I got new paint in this morning, by the way. I ran out, so I've got to do the rails over there. The one in the back. So it's looking pretty good. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I did the background. See, the background looks pretty good, doesn't it? It went from one end all the way down to there so far, and I've got to go all the way around the rest of the side, the back, this wall over here in between the buildings, and right up to there. Then underneath here, I'm going to do the I'm going to do the underside. And it'll be a little bit smaller though. It won't be the same as the top. Because I got all the clouds down there underneath and I don't want to lose my clouds. So that's what I got to do with that. Let's see, what else am I doing? So much to do, so little time. Oh yeah, I'm over here working on my turnouts. In fact, I'm going to pause the camera for a minute, so hang on just a second. Okay, so now we're doing the turnouts, and as you can see, I'm working on it, and under the underside is my servo controller. And I got my piano wire in yesterday too, so I worked on this last night before I called it a night. And I've got to install the one in the back here yet, you know, the piano wire part of it. But this is going to work out brilliantly. And once again, I got to thank Tim Kvechak of Tom's Trains and Things. Pogo, calm down. Pogo's going nuts. Ah. So it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have even thought about this. And I'm glad he did because I like this idea better. Now he's also working on a way to slow down the actual switching part to make it look, you know, make it act more like a tortoise. I'm also doing the same thing. So hopefully one of us will come up with the idea and give it to the other, or the way to. It's all in the software, the Arduino. As near as I can tell. So it doesn't look like it would be that difficult to do. So I just haven't had time to fool with it. Now I ordered Momentary Switches to control this, and they're regular. They look like regular toggles, but they're not. Well, they are sort of. They're on toggles, so they're single pole double throw. So there's 3 terminals underneath, and it's just like the pot, but you've got a constant on to the left and a constant on to the right, if that makes sense. So when you switch over one way or the other, it'll throw the point, if I'm saying that correctly. So those should be in, I think, hopefully Saturday, maybe Monday at the latest. And once those are in, then I can start buttoning up this whole thing. But in the meantime, I wanted to get all this set up, and and it's designed to drop in. And I've also got to modify my bench work a little bit because, like I said, underneath here, you can tip this up again. You can see this right here, this arm. It's going to be down below. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be down below the bench work. So I'm going to have to slot the bench work. Let me pull the camera up again. Hey, I like this new camera. It's working out real well for me. It's a lot steadier than the old one too. So here we go here. And that's where it's going to drop in. So I'm going to have to, these holes, don't pay attention to those. I'm going to have to make a slot like right here. And then a slot right here. Well, somewhere in there. To make way for that servo arm, which is no big deal. Then of course the wire will drop down as well. But the whole thing will just drop right down in here. And if I ever have to service it, I just lift it up. And you know, I've got to do some track work here. I'm going to trim this back a little bit, but I'll have it set up to where, you can see right here, I take a few more of the, oh hell, I can never remember what they're called, the wood pieces here, so I can slide my pins back far enough to release the turnout. So that's going to work out really well. Like I said, be completely available for maintenance or repair if need be. So, and then of course this is the first one. I've also got to do the same thing. It's kind of hard with all the cars over here on this side, but I do the same thing there and there. I got another one over here. You can just barely see it. And I've got this one here. I might leave the rail crew switch in there yet. I don't really know. And I've got one here. And another one back there behind the Pepsi plant. And I've got one over there. I got a lot of turnouts here. And I've also got two turnouts over here. There's Pogo. There's Pogo. Got two turnouts over here behind the gas station. I don't know if you can really see them or not. So, and then I've got one over there on the other side of the lift out. Now, the turnouts that are up here are all going to be manual. I don't see any good reason why I should have these electrified because they're not going to get that much use. So I could do these on a manual. I'll get manual throws for these. Now I also have the switch stands. I have 12 of them. So I think I could utilize those even with the servos. Like I said, I'm going to be working on that whole assembly over here and try and factor all that in. And I'll let you know after I get it accomplished. And well, the next time you see this turnout, it'll most likely be when it's operational. So let me put the camera back up here. So that's the whole plan in a nutshell. Well, maybe not a nutshell, but it's a plan. Crazy dog. I'm being molested by a dog. So I just thought it'd be a good time to test out the new camera as well. and provide another update. Things are still, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the printer. Now, I have this Epson. Let me show it to you. This Epson right here, which is a great printer, except for one little problem. And that, of course, is the ink cartridges. Now, this thing has relatively tiny ink cartridges. They're separate tanks. These right here. And they're not real expensive, but they're not real cheap either. Now, it takes a lot of cyan and magenta ink to print those backgrounds back there. Matter of fact, I got 16 prints, 16 pages on a tank of, a full tank of ink of the two colors. Well, it cost me $38 to re-ink this printer every time it needs to be done. By my reckoning, I'm going to need 4 more sets of tanks to finish up. That's a lot of money. So what I found out is, and this is, again, they're not quite as new as I thought, but they're relatively new. It's called an Eco Tank. And I found one from Target, of all places. I'm going to have it shipped to the house. Or Target for you French guys. They have the Epson EC2720, or ET2720 printer. It's the same physical size as this one I have now, and they have it both available in black and white. And it takes these Eco Tanks. And what it is, there's no cartridges. The tanks are built into the printer. And you flip up the lid, and it's really slick. You should check this out if you're interested or even considering buying a printer or upgrading your printer. And it comes with 4 bottles, 1 bottle of black, 1 bottle of magenta, 1 bottle of cyan, 1 bottle of yellow. And the black bottle will print 7,500 pages. It's 65 milliliters of ink, which is better than, like, I think 2 milliliters or 5 milliliters or something like that of this. There's not much in these. And you can see your ink levels right in the front of the printer. It's really slick, so if you're getting low, you get your little bottle, and it's got a device that you push down on it, and it feeds ink into that particular tank. There's no mess. I mean, this thing is really cool. So anyway, the printer I just mentioned, the 2720, I found it at Target for $199.99, and it comes with the 4 big bottles of ink. So, you know, most times, like when I bought my Epson, it came with 4 cartridges, and they were starter ink. Did about 5 pages on each one. What a joke. So I'm already on my 3rd set of cartridges on this printer, and I haven't printed that much. I mean, it's cost me a fortune. Now, by comparison, they said 1 tank or 1 bottle of ink for the Eco Tank is equivalent to 80 print cartridges. And if you were to buy 80 ink cartridges, it would cost you well over $1,000. How much do these bottles cost? Well, the black ink is $13. And you can get the 3 colors all together, I think, for $34. And I'm sure you can shop around, maybe find them a little cheaper. I'm not sure. And once again, the color bottles are good for, I think they said 5,700. Yeah, something like that. It was 5,700 pages each bottle. That's a lot. And they said that under normal circumstances, which doesn't include me because like I said, what I'm doing here is not normal. But under normal printing circumstances, those bottles will last 2 years. You can't go wrong. Now, I paid $150 for this printer, okay? So for $50 more, I could have got, I didn't know about the other ones, otherwise I would have just bought that one. But for $50 more, I could have bought a better printer and got cheaper ink. And the reason this is happening is because people are just, they're so fed up with the ink. I mean, let's face it, they're giving away these printers, especially HP. HP practically gives you the printer for nothing because they know they're going to bend you over on the ink, and they will, and they do. You know, and of course, most of these cartridges now have chips in them. You can't refill them unless you replace the chip. So the whole thing gets just as expensive as buying one already done. I looked at it from my my laser printer inside the house. I bought some bulk ink, which was really, really cheap, and I bought the chips to put in the cartridges. You change them out when you do that. Well, it didn't work. So, and that was on eBay, and I was kind of pissed off. And the chips were cheap enough. I got 5 of them for like $8. But still, it's a ripoff. The whole thing is a ripoff. I guess so many people are screaming about it that the now Epson makes the EcoTank. Brother makes the EcoTank. The Brother's a little cheaper, but I don't know what the quality is. Okay, and these are all-in-one printers. They do everything but fax. If you want the fax, they have one, but it costs a lot more. Now, I don't need to fax on this, and I really can't anyway, because I don't have a hardline connection to my router. So, but anyway, so Brother makes one. It's a little cheaper, I believe, not much, but a little bit. Epson makes theirs, and they said HP makes them, but they were not recommended, probably because they're very expensive. And even though I like HP, I've kind of lost my trust in them with this whole thing, so I wouldn't waste my money on an HP anymore. And I had HPs most of my life. And they were good machines, but once again, they just killed you on the ink. So I would go either the Epson or the Brother. There is a third one, I can't remember what it is. It's not a Lexmark. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter because they said it was garbage. Don't waste your money on it. So if you're looking for a good quality printer that's going to save you money down the road, go with the Epson or the Brother. And the Brother is similar the way it works. It has built-in tanks, and you just load the ink into them, and you're done. And the price of the ink is, like I said, you know, when you buy an ink cartridge, you know what you're paying for, right? You're paying for the cartridge itself. You're paying for the chipset in it. And then you're paying for the ink. Well, the ink doesn't cost anything. You know, if you've ever bought bulk ink, I bought bulk ink, and except for my laser printer, I bought a big bottle. It was like a pint of black ink. Well, it's actually powder for the laser, but still, it's a lot. And it was like $4. You know, keep in mind that a black cartridge is $25. So you're paying for that, and they know, and it's a big ripoff. You're not actually getting it. I think if somebody sat down and said the ink, if you actually bought it by the gallon, was like $1,200 a gallon. Just for the ink. That's ridiculous. It's ink, for Christ's sake. It ain't gold. You know. And most of the inks today are water-based anyway, so why is it so expensive? So don't get roped into that. Like I said, most of you guys probably have printers, and you do use them in your layout because they do come in handy. You want to print up signs or backgrounds, or some people are actually making buildings. You can make the cardstock buildings, and that gets, once again, you use a lot of ink on this stuff, and it gets expensive with traditional ink cartridges. So, and I'll go ahead, I'll show it off in the video. When I already ordered this one, okay? I ordered it last night, and I think it'll be here on the 26th or the 22nd, excuse me. October 22nd, and I'll have it here, and I'll set it up, and I'll just put this one aside as a spare. Because, and that's why I'm going to hold off on any more backgrounds until I get the new one. Because right now I've got half a tank of ink left. I can do about 8, maybe, pages on it, and I'll be out again. So that's just crazy, you know. And like I said, $40 for, you know, 3 ink cartridges is not cheap. That one, I have an extra black that I bought some time back, but and you don't really use the black when you're doing colors, but you do use the magenta, cyan, and yellow. And with my background is mostly cyan and yellow, but there was a little bit of magenta too, just not as much. So, I mean, it's just crazy, you know. So this is the way to go, and I just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys. I mean, I know it's a lot of money to throw out at once, but sometimes in this business, or this hobby, I should say, you got to look down the road on this. You got to look at long-term expenses. You know, you're going to go broke either way, right? I mean, the price of things nowadays just get worse and worse, but right now, especially when money's tight, I know it is for me, this was a smart move. I can get more done on my layout with an economic printer than I can with the printer I have. And the quality of the EcoTank is just as good, if not better, than a traditional cartridge printer. You're basically using the same ink, you're just not paying for that chip, and you're not paying for the actual cartridge. And the EcoTank doesn't use a chip. So when it goes low, you fill it up with more, and you're ready to print again. You don't have to worry about chip malfunctions or errors or any of that stuff. So I'm thinking this is a great deal. And like I said, I have so much more printing to do. And I'll find more down the road. You know, I just made a bunch of highway signs for Tom Grassi, and I'm sure he'll show them as soon as he'll have them in a few days. He'll probably show them off. They came out really nice, but once again, a lot of printing. And since most highway signs are in green, you're using, once again, a lot of yellow and a lot of cyan. You know, blue and yellow make green. So I could print out lots of those. And I'd love to make even more of these signs for you guys if you want to go that extra detail on your layouts. That's the way to go. I don't have one here that's made already, I don't think. You know what, I could do this. Hang on just a second. I'll show you what I did for him. I took pictures of all this stuff and I sent it to him. Let me swing around here and we'll get a look at them. There you go. Those are nice. I rounded the corners on them. They're not 100% perfect. They're not going to be because I don't have that type of technology to do it, but I think overall they're really nice. They're HO scale. They're legible. Like inside the blue shield, you've got, let me see. Tell you what, let me zoom in on one. How's that sound? Alright. There we go. I got Interstate in the red here. It's the photograph, but these are really, really clear. And underneath I got his state of New Jersey, the route number, whether you're going east, west, north, or south, and the mile marker. And I'll tell you what, these are nice. And, you know, they're not cheap, you know. I charge them $1.50 per sign because it takes a lot of work, and these are styrene backed. So you've got paper, the paper sign, the styrene backing. It's 40 thousandths, I believe, thick. And then you've also got a styrene post. And then I clear coat the whole thing to lock it in. So these are nice. I mean, you just really can't go wrong with it. So we got those. I also do the regular little mile markers, which I've got some of those here too, which is actually what we started to do. And then he decided he wanted to go with the actual highway markers, but I also have, let's see if you can see that or not. I don't know how clear that is. It's got mile and then it's got 10. This is mile marker 10. These are also HO scale. I'm going to use those on my layout since I made a few of them anyway. So overall, there's some pretty cool stuff going on. Let me swing the camera back around again. There we go. So, like I said, I have a lot of uses for a printer. So that's conventional printing. And of course I still have, you know, 3D printing back here. I don't know if you can see it or not. There you go. And that's another thing I'm making. I'm going to plug myself today because, well, just because I can. So I have these, I think they're called maintenance sheds. I'm not sure what they're called. Maintenance cabinets. And they're HO scale. I specifically modified these for what I want them to do, and you'll see they're open in the front. And this is where I put my, oh shit, what do you call them? The IR sensors in for the crossing lights or gates if you're using gates. So you put the board up in here. The board sticks down halfway because the other half of the board is down on your foam. The other half of the board is up in here with the two sensors. You put this next to your track, and that's what engages the lights or your gate, whatever you're using. I make these up too. If anybody's interested in them, let me know. Right now I'm printing them in white, so you'll have to repaint them silver. If I get enough of an order, I'll buy silver filament, and we can print them out in silver. Which I'll probably do at some point, but right now it's easier for me to paint the ones. I had to make 9 of them for myself. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint them because it's just that much easier. And then of course you've got, I'm just full of stuff today. And some of you are thinking, hey, he's full of something, alright. These here are the holders for the 9-gram servos, and I'm printing these out too. So if anybody needs these, I can print them for you. You know, and they're, like I said, they're specifically designed for the 9-gram servo. I could probably make them for a larger servo. So let me know if you're interested in them. Like I said, I can make them pretty much to cover any size servo, within reason, of course. I mean, if you have a servo this big, that's probably going to be a problem. But, so yeah, I'll be making all kinds of things, and I'll tell you what my plan is. I'm hoping I can sell enough stuff to maybe supplement my expenditures and my layout, because like I said, money's getting a little tight here. And if I can produce things that you guys want or need, all the better for both of us, right? So we'll see how that goes. So I'm done plugging myself now. Let's see, is there anything else? No, that about covers it. So once again, keep it on the rails as always, because you know it's not good if you derail. And I'm sure you guys heard about the Amtrak derailing. I think it was about a week or so ago, out west somewhere. I think it was Arizona maybe. It wasn't good. It was pretty bad. I don't know what the death count was or the injury count. I didn't read that deep into it, but it just kills me every time a train derails. So keep it on the rails. And thank you for watching as always. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to my, you know, horse shit, whatever. And we'll see you next time. Bye.